Hello friends, welcome back to our channel. Today we are going to initiate a new series of videos on interview questions and answers on static timing analysis. And this is a part 1 of this series. Now without wasting much time, let us get started. Let us start our virtual interview session with this very simple question. And the question is, what do you understand by setup and hold time of a flip-flop? Usually this question is asked from a fresher or a candidate having intermediate level. And as a usual practice, interviewers prefer to start interview on STA from this question and they proceed further. Perhaps most of you would be knowing it, but anyway, let me explain it. This is a flip-flop. I have considered positive edge trigger flip-flop in our case. This is the clock signal. This is D input applied to this flip-flop and Q is the output of this flip-flop. As a very rough definition of a flip-flop, whatever value of D is available at the active edge of the clock, that will be passed to Q. At all the other time, this Q will retain its previous value. But practically the scenario is a bit different. This D will pass to Q only when its value is stable for some minimum time before the active edge of the clock. And this particular time is called setup time of a flip-flop. Similarly, D should be stable even after the active edge of the clock for some minimum time. And this particular time is called hold time. And this hold time is required so that the value of Q can be settled to a stable value. And this is how flip-flop works. Friends, if you are interested to know why a flip-flop requires setup and hold time and what should be its value, and there can be many questions like that. So to clear all those questions, I have created many videos and I will give the link of those videos in the description section as well as in the I-bar. You can go through them. Now let us proceed to your next question. Friends, the next question is on your screen where you have to find out the critical path in the design. And for your information, critical path is the path which decides the maximum operating frequency of the entire design. And in this design, I have considered all the flip-flops having similar setup time, hold time and TCQ values. And all are listed in this table. I will recommend if you can pause my video here, take your time and try to find out the critical path. Otherwise, I am going to tell you the critical path. Friends, as you can see that there are multiple paths existing inside the design. Let me trace them. This is one of the path. Okay. This is second path. This is third path. And this is fourth path. And friends, this fourth path is the critical path. This critical path has more delays as compared to other paths, so it will be responsible to determine the maximum operational frequency of the entire design. Now let us move towards your next question. Friends, the next question is quite related where you have to calculate the maximum operating frequency of our design. You can pause my video here, take your time. If you come to know its answer, please write down in the comment section. Otherwise, I am going to reveal its answer. Let me go to the previous diagram where we find out the critical path. And this critical path will determine the maximum operational frequency of the entire design. And to calculate maximum operational frequency, we have to calculate at what minimum time period this path can operate. And to calculate the minimum time period of this path, we have to use the following formula. So this is the formula. Friends, those who are not sure from where this formula came into picture, they can refer my other video where I proved this formula and I will give its link in the description section. T minimum will be equal to TCQ of U1 plus propagation delay of this gate E, then propagation delay of H, then setup time of U3. And TCQ is equal to 5 nanosecond. And propagation delay of E is equal to 8 nanosecond. And propagation delay of H is equal to 9 nanosecond. And setup time of U3 is equal to 3 nanosecond. Add them, you will get 25 nanosecond. So the minimum time period of operation for this path is 25 nanosecond. Now after calculating T minimum, that is the minimum time period of operation, it is very easy to calculate maximum operating frequency. Maximum operating frequency will be inverse of T minimum, and T minimum is 25 nanosecond. 1 by 25 nanosecond will become equal to 40 megahertz. So the maximum operating frequency for this path will be 40 megahertz. And obviously for all the other paths, this operating frequency will be higher. But the entire design work on a single clock. So we have to choose the maximum one so that all the paths can work very smoothly. Now let us move to your next question. Friend, this is the last question of this video session, and this is the crux of our video. This is most important one. And the question is, what will happen if we operate the design on a frequency higher than the calculated maximum frequency? We calculated that our design can work at maximum 40 megahertz. But what will happen if I operate my design at 100 megahertz, 200 megahertz, 300 megahertz? Friends, those who know its answer, please write down in the comment section. Otherwise, I am going to reveal its answer. Friends, let us assume the very first case. If the operating frequency is slightly higher than the maximum calculated frequency, that is 40 megahertz, and the time period is 25 nanosecond. In this case, we will observe setup time violation. Let me explain you how. Let us try to understand the functionality of this critical path. Let us assume that on nth clock edge, the value of D will be passed at the output of this flop U1. And it will take 5 nanoseconds to do so because TCQ is 5 nanosecond. And further, after 8 nanoseconds, the value will reach at the output of this OR gate E. We can say that 5 plus 8, 13 nanosecond. After 13 nanosecond from this nth clock edge, the value which was available at the input of U1 will reach at the output of OR gate E. And further, taking 9 more nanosecond by gate H, the value will reach at the output of this AND gate. 9 plus 8, 17 plus 5, 22. So after 22 nanoseconds, the value which was available at the input of flop will reach at the output of AND gate. The time period is 25 nanosecond. So we have 3 nanosecond. So 3 nanosecond is the setup time of this flop. So we have enough time to settle the value before the next clock edge, because we know that the time period is 25 nanosecond and we will get the next clock edge here. And whatever value will be available, that will be passed at the output of U3. So this is the proper functionality of this critical path. Friends, now let us consider the case where I am applying this clock frequency slightly higher than the calculated maximum operating frequency, which is 40 megahertz, and the minimum time period was 25 nanosecond. And now let us say that the applied frequency is higher than this 40 megahertz, and let us assume that now this time period is 24 nanosecond. Instead of 25 nanosecond, I am taking 24 nanosecond time period clock. Now let us revise what will happen. We know that at nth clock edge, the value whichever is available at the input of this U1 will be passed at the output of this flop, and it will take 5 nanosecond. And after 8 plus 9, that is total 22 nanosecond, the value will reach at the output of this AND gate. After 22 nanosecond, this value is reached at the output of this AND gate. And now the time period is 24 nanosecond. And after 2 more nanosecond, I will get the edge of this clock at U3. And I have only 2 nanosecond left. And the setup time is 3 nanosecond. So I am not fulfilling the setup time requirement of this U3. I am violating it. I have only 2 nanoseconds here. So this flop will go into metastability state. But there is a possibility that this flop may go into metastable state. So we are not sure what will be the output. So that is why I said if the operating frequency is slightly higher, then we can say that we will violate the setup time requirement of the flop. Now let us consider the second case, when the operating frequency is quite higher than the maximum calculated frequency. In this case, there will not be any setup time violation, but it will be complete functionality failure. The circuit will not operate as per the intended functionality. Now let me explain you how. As we already discussed that at nth clock edge, the value is passed from this input to output, and then through this OR gate and AND gate, this value reaches at the input of this flop U3. And it takes 22 nanoseconds to reach at the output of this AND gate. And we have 3 nanoseconds as a setup time. So total 25 nanoseconds is the minimum time required. But now we are operating at very high clock frequency. That means time period is quite less. Let us assume that we are operating at 20 nanoseconds. Time period 20 nanoseconds. We know that we will take 22 nanoseconds to reach at the output of this AND gate. And after 20 nanoseconds only, the clock is already passed. So the previous value is passed at the output of this U3, which is not expected. So this is called functionality failure. Friends, just for your information, there will not be any hold violation, because hold violations are independent of operating frequency, but they are dependent on the architecture of the path, that is delay of clock and data path. Those who want to know more about these hold violations, I have created a separate video on hold violations. You can go through them. Then you will come to know how it is independent of operating frequency. And I will give the link of that video in the description section. You can go through it. Friends, with this I am going to end this video here, and I hope that this would be quite informative for all of you. If you really liked my video, please press the like button, share your feedback in the comment section, and don't forget to subscribe my channel. And to get the notification of all the videos as early as possible, press the bell icon. Thank you so much for watching.